Hello to my stitchy friends. How are you all? My name is Sally, also known as Flossie Sews and Grows on here and on Instagram. And welcome to Flosstube number 18. Celebration time. This is not only my Flossiversary, so 1 year ago, actually yesterday, I filmed my first ever Flosstube. But we're also celebrating September and back to school. I love the summer holidays. They're wonderful. Love having my daughter at home and also my partner. He's a teacher. Love going away and all of that. But it is fantastic also when everybody goes back to school and I get a bit of quiet time, get on to get some work done with no interruptions. And so far, not really any stitching during the day, but ho hum, and a bit more chance to catch up with you and get a Flosstube filmed. So my daughter went back to school Wednesday, and my partner, he just does supply teaching, so it can be work comes when it comes. And actually he's had 3 days this week. September's usually very quiet, but he's been in every day so far, so fingers crossed that is the way it is going to continue. So we've had a funny old summer here in Wales. It's been very wet. Every single camping trip we've been on, it's rained. The last one, I think I filmed just before the last one, and we were just about to go away to Barmouth, and yes, it rained. We got some time on the beach, and the kids also swam in the sea while it was raining. It wasn't cold, just a bit wet. And in typical British weather fashion, it's been a heat wave this week with the first week back to school. Typical. So I've actually got the curtains shut because the sun is shining in. And actually, one of my friends said to me on my last Flosstube that the light was a bit washed out. So I've tried to get you a little bit closer to me today and also try and block out some of the sun. But it's really warm. It's beautiful out there. So the windows are all open. But my house is relatively cool, so it's quite nice. So yes, it's been a year being on Flosstube, and it's been wonderful. Just have to say thank you to all the lovely people who have supported me and commented, subscribed, have liked videos when I've put them out. It's been wonderful, and actually I've made some wonderful friends online, and also I've met some now in person. Went to a retreat helping Kate, who I met probably about a year ago, and who's Fabrics by Crafty Kate, or Crafty Kate at Crafty Kate on Instagram. And through her went to the Chatelaine retreat in Crewe, and I met some people there, and then looking forward to going to Stitch in London in October. So busy old times, but I still managed to get quite a bit of stitching done in August, probably because the weather was so absolutely terrible, and I really had a urge to get some things finished. I started August with 14 whips. I didn't have any new starts in August, and I finished August with 2 finishes, so I had 12 whips at the end of the month. So my first finish is this absolute beauty from the Blue Flower, and it is Seasons of the Heart, and it is summer. Absolutely loved this. I stitched this on a vintage cream Zweigart fabric. It's 40 count. I stitched it predominantly in DMC called for threads. I made one change. You can see this flower here in the middle. That is the called for, and I changed it to I think it's DMC 06, and I also changed the colour of the kitten. I just felt it would stand out a little bit more. So I'm so pleased with that. I've really enjoyed stitching these. So I've stitched all, so this is the third one from the Seasons of the Heart series that I've now stitched. I've been stitching them as part of the hashtag seasonal sale that was organised by the Lancashire stitcher Lynn, and I've stitched small, so I've been determined to finish each one before the end of the season, and I started on the new one and really enjoyed stitching all of them, and I've got one more left. So this pattern was from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. All four, I think, were in last year, in 2022's issues. So I've also been stitching along as hashtag Stitch Smalls from PMPS, which has been organised by Sarah from Sarah Stitchy Spot. So I've been managing to get lots stitched out of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I think it's a great magazine. It's really good value, and there's lots of lovely patterns in there. If you are a primitive stitcher, which I predominantly am, I love the primitive look. So I also had one more finish, and this, I think, is my oldest whip from when I started stitching again in, I think it's about 2 years ago, so summer, August 2021. And I was given this as a kit. So this is Little House Needleworks, and it is Love Family Home, and it is very nice. I was determined I was going to get it finished. It's been, so yes, it's about 2 years old. It is stitched on a 28 count. Now it's lamb's wool linen, and I believe I bought this when I was stitching previously, which was before my daughter was born, so about 15 years ago. So this is linen that I bought 15 years ago when I was stitching then, and stopped stitching when she was born, and picked it back up again 2 years ago. So it's stitched 2/2, and it's stitched with Classic Colourworks thread, which came with it as a pack. So it came as a pack, and I think I've just, oh, it's on here, isn't it? It came as a kit with the colours, and also a little key ring. I've just put these on, this on some other colours yesterday. So a little key ring so it's the Little House logo, and that's what I've stitched. Now I did make some changes though. I did change the colour of the door. So the colour of the door should have been the colour, I think, that the fence is, and I decided I've got a red door, so I thought I'm going to put a red door on there. And I just think, actually, I like colour. I found it was brighter, and I think also the windows might have been darker, and I've put them in the cream colour. I also put the heart in there. Now I think I did say to you that I was thinking of jazzing it up a little bit more and adding some red French knots for little apples, and I haven't. I've just thought, no, I've done it. It looks beautiful as it is. I've had enough now. Want to get it framed, get it up on the wall, and I'm happy with it how it is. I think, you know, since I started stitching 2 years ago, I've moved from 28 count, moved to 32 count, and then 36 count, and also been stitching quite a lot on 40 count. And really, I love 40 counts. My sweet spot is probably 36. That was what I really love stitching. So I think with this, because it was 28, I just wanted to get it finished and yeah, get it up on the wall. So that is definitely one to think about, trying to get fully finished in the next couple of weeks, along with everything else that I've got to finish. So those are my 2 finishes for August. As I say, I didn't start anything in August, but of course we have started September with Sampler September, and I think I showed you in my last Flosstube some haul that had arrived, and of course it is September's Revenge from Maximum Cross Stitch. So absolutely, oh, love this one. And so I started this one on the 1st of September, and I bought the fabric, the pattern, and the beautiful, beautiful Roxy Flosco colours, all from Evertotes in Canada, and they're just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful palette of colour. So absolutely adore those. And this is where I'm up to. So here we go. So this is what I have done in the last week, because today's date is Friday the 8th of September. So this is 7 days of stitching. So I am stitching this along with Caroline at Evertotes. She is showing us her stitching every day on this, and she had figured out that to finish it by the end of September she needed to stitch 277 stitches each day. So I've decided I'd like to probably finish it before if I could, and also there are other things that I want to be stitching. And certainly yesterday I stitched this, the purple. That colour is Shy Violet. It's gorgeous. And I stitched it, and then I realised I'd stitched it one thread over this way. Had to unpick it, stitch it again. So everything I stitched yesterday, I stitched twice. So I definitely didn't do 277 stitches yesterday. But what I have done is I have the first couple of days was the weekend, so I managed to get lots done over the weekend. I can't even remember what I did at the weekend. I don't know. Is it something about getting older? Is it because I'm suddenly a lady of a certain age that my memory just, whew, it goes. I can't remember sometimes what day it is. I certainly can't remember what I did last weekend. I worked yesterday. I can remember that. But so I've tried to get a little bit ahead on this so that I can get it finished, and I can also get some other things stitched if I want to in the meantime. So and I'm actually keeping that in my Halloween project bag, which for us I bought at the Chatelaine retreat from Nicola, who is Be Crafty Bags, and I know Nicola is at the Solihull retreat this weekend, which she organises, so I hope that everyone who's going to that has an absolutely fantastic weekend. Talking about retreats, my next, so I did say yes, so that's on, and the fabric from that is 36 count Panettone, which is also Roxy Floss Co fabric, which I got from Evertotes. So it's just stunning. It's just absolutely stunning. So talking about retreats, my next whip that I worked on quite a lot on this in August where I could. This is Panty Patch Quilts and Stitchery, and this is Stitcher's House Retreat. So I'm stitching this along with my lovely, lovely friend Charlie, who is Stitches by Charlie Feathers. I think a lot of you know Charlie. If you don't, go and have a, she does a wonderful, wonderful floss tube. She's such a kind hearted soul, and she's quite different from me in that I'm quite loud and gregarious in real life, not in an overbearing way, I would like to think, but pray do tell me if you ever meet me and I am, just tell me to back off. I'll take it, that's fine. But Charlie is excuse me, Charlie's just a lovely, lovely soul. She's quiet, she's really at one with nature and loves being at one with nature. So she just has some lovely, lovely floss tubes and some fabulous projects. So we are stitching this together, and we're stitching this as our hashtag is Stitchy Friends Retreat Together Sal. So we are both going to stitch in London, and we are going to, we hope, finish this at Stitch in London together. And I would like to think that we will put some names. I've got quite a long piece of fabric. Put some names at the bottom of that of our friends, whether they be old friends that we've spoken to before and we've met before, or new friends that we meet at the retreat. So this, I'm really enjoying this. This is on a fabric by Fabrics by Crafty Kate, and I'm not sure quite whether you can see the colour of that. It's a very, very pale pink with a few kind of mauvey, mottley effects in it. So it's really subtle and it's really beautiful. So, and that's a 36 count. That is one of the fabrics by Kate from her monthly club. Can't remember which month, a couple of months ago. And really, really loving stitching that. That is in my stitchy bag that I've made myself. So that one, oh, I have made a mistake. I sent a photo to Charlie last week and said I've made a mistake with, I don't know why, didn't read the chart properly, that I've started, if you can see here, the retreater's house is in this nice bright pink, and I have started stitching the border around it in an aqua colour, and it should actually be a really pale pink. If you can see, you can only just see it on there actually. I can't, that's not coming up, that's not focusing very well, is it, for you to see? But I sent it to Charlie and said, I've stitched it in the wrong colour, but actually I really like it. And she said, oh, so do I might do the same. So we both potentially are changing the chart slightly, but it looks great. It's obviously one of the colours from, I think it's a colour that's not used awfully much actually. It could be just from the dress of one of the girls, I'm not sure. So I think it will make the Stitchers Retreat writing stand out slightly more. So I'm going to go with it. That's great. Another whip that I've really been working on, again, I really would like to get this one finished for Halloween, is the Supernatural Sal by the Witchy Stitcher. I should have put a picture up there for you to see, so you can see what it's like. That was a PDF pattern that I bought online. And I'll also put a picture up of where I was the last time you saw this, so that you can see now what progress I've made. So we are getting there. I have done some more on the gin to finish the gin here in the top, looking at it, right hand corner. I have done some more on the unicorn. The unicorn's lovely mane and red tail, and then the borders of the 3 pictures at the bottom, I've done some more work on those. And actually, once those borders are done, getting the pictures done in the middle of them can sometimes be quite quick. So I have got, what have I got left to put in there? I have got a ghost, well, it's 3 ghosts. 3 ghosts are going to go here. There's a demon, there is a fairy, and a harpy. So those are the 4 that need to be done at the bottom there. So I did quite a lot on this in August. This is stitched again. This is another project. I haven't got many left. Is this the only one I've got left? That is 2/2, possibly. I think, I don't know if I've got any more left now. This will be my final 2/2 project. The fabric is a 32 count even weave, and I got this from the Stitchy Ferret, and it's 32 count Vampirella, it's called. My partner bought me this as a surprise a couple of Christmases ago, and it's beautiful. Love stitching on it. And actually I don't mind too much that I'm stitching 2/2 with it. I think it needs it for the pattern it is, and it's enjoyable actually. It's not too bulky. When I found the little house logo, I found that too bulky even on 28 count for me. So that's my preference. It's what I like. It's what I like stitching, and it's what I like looking at. And we're all different, aren't we? We all like different things, which is great because that's what makes the world so wonderful. We all like things slightly differently. So I'm predominantly stitching this with the call for threads where I've had them. I've also made changes. I think I've told you a couple of times I'm using a toile to do the lettering now, so it's all black étoile for all of the names of the characters. And I've started doing things. I actually finished off the gin with, somebody had given me a petite treasure braid in a, one of my friends had said, oh, I've got some stitchy things I don't want, and there was just the end of some petite treasure braid in there, and I thought, well, I've never tried it, I'm going to try it. So it was better than Krynic, and it was better than DMC, kind of the metallic thread that they do. So it was great just to have enough to finish off that her little headband. So I've been adding in bits and bobs with that, making things different. A big change was that I've done a lot of that. I bought some cinders, Gentle Art, is it Gen? Yeah, it's Gentle Arts. I think this is one of my favourite colours actually. Cinders from the Gentle Arts, just love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I have actually done quite a few bits in cinders as well instead of 310. I think this took, I think they'd said if you were stitching it 2/2 you'd need 11 skeins of 310, so quite a lot. I think I bought 8. I've still got a couple left, but obviously I've still not finished. Still got some of the bottom border to do, but then I've added in lots of other colours. I've added in the étoile, etc. So I would really like to finish that for Halloween. Might be a bit of a tall order. I did say to somebody on I think on Instagram, who's also going excuse me, to Stitch in London, she was stitching it too, and I said, oh, let's finish it for Stitch in London. I mean, that's the 22nd of October, so that's the weekend before Halloween. So I do want to finish it. There's lots going on though, and look, I just want to stitch everything, don't we all? So whip number 3 is my Wednesday night stitch with my lovely friend Stitchy Sally. Great name. So this is the 4 Seasons by Barbara Anna, and I'm not stitching it in a 4 like this, I'm stitching it across, and really tried to make an effort to get my Wednesday night stitching done. Don't tell Sally I forgot this week. I was stitching on September's Revenge and just got caught up and I forgot. So I'm nearly finished with Summer. She needs some eyes, needs a little bit more on a strawberries finishing, and she needs some shoes. And oh, I think the flowers also need some yellow middles. She's lovely. She's really lovely. Quite fiddly. So sometimes, again, this is a 40 count. I would say Zweigart because it's got that orange selvage, but I don't know what it is because it was out of my mystery bag of my magic bag of 40 count fabric that I bought off a lovely lady on Instagram, which was all her bits of scrap, and there were some great bits in it. So yeah, so this eventually will be stitched. There'll be all 4 ladies along it, and it's very enjoyable. It is a bit fiddly. There's there's some lovely detail on it, and that's possibly, with it being 40 count, perhaps why I'm finding it a little bit slower going. Just because of that detail. There's sometimes, like with the house, for example, on September's Revenge, although that's with a variegated thread, I've really managed to, because it's big blocks of stitching, I've managed to get quite a bit done. There's not really so much of that with this pattern, so it's a little bit slower, but I enjoy it, and I will carry on stitching on Wednesday nights when I remember with Sally, although I think, not sure what's coming up. Barbara Anna does put have patterns in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, and there's some lovely ones. There's a couple of Christmas ones that I haven't done, so I'm certainly on my Wednesday nights I'm sometimes interspersing other Barbara Annas certainly smalls that I can do quite quickly and get a quick start and finish. So this is just an ongoing project. I haven't got a start date. Obviously I've started it. I haven't got an end date in mind for that one. Just stitching it on a Wednesday night when I remember and enjoying it. So it did get, so at one point it was quite cool here during autumn and damp, and it started to really feel quite autumny. So I got my Winds of Autumn book out from Blackbird and decided to pick up and start stitching on, out of this book, Mighty Oak, which I am stitching with my lovely friend Crafty Kate. And this is, we've called this I was looking at my notes, where is it? My handwriting's really messy on my notes that are just below you, so I'm very sorry I'm having to figure out what they say. So it's the hashtag Mighty Acorn Sal, and I'll put a little picture of where I was up to the last time I stitched this, because I haven't stitched on this for a couple of months. We started this in March, so it's some much needed time on it. And actually, as you can see, I've actually got quite a bit done, although I did have to unpick. I'd done some of this border here, and I realised as I went further up the tree, I realised it was out, so I had to unpick that. So I have stitched more because I've had to unpick too. So I'm hoping the light, the sun has moved round, so I'm just going to, that's slightly better, there we go, it's not washing it out so much. So made some progress on this. I have stitched, I've definitely done this little squirrel since you last saw it. Now it is called for, it's actually a red squirrel, and in this part of Wales we don't get red squirrels, we only get grey squirrels. So I decided to change the squirrel on the top of the house, on top of the roof, for a grey squirrel. Now the other change that I'm thinking about making, again I have mentioned this before, I was thinking of changing the house to a blue house, and Kate was changing her colour, I think, to red. And then when we'd done that, we were going to swap threads, and I was going to have a red door with her red thread, and she was going to have a blue door with my blue thread. And I mentioned this to my very fickle 13-year-old. She said, "No, look at the pattern, mummy. It's all autumn colours." And there you can see the house. In that colour. She said, "You know, it's autumn colours. You can't change the colour of the house. That's silly." I was like, okay, the 13-year-old has spoken. Anyway, I was then watching, can't remember who I was watching, but she talked about somebody who had changed the colour of the house, and that was at Handmade by Sarah W. So she's at Handmade by Sarah W on Instagram and here on YouTube, Flosstube. And I'd watched one of Sarah's Flosstubes before, and so I went over and had a look at her Instagram, and there was Mighty Acorn stitched with a blue house. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Can't remember what colour she'd used. I think she'd used a Weeks Dye Works colour. So I took it to the 13-year-old and I said, "Oh look, somebody else has stitched this with the blue house like I was thinking about doing. What do you think?" She went, "Oh mum, it's beautiful." "Yes, you could do that too, couldn't you?" And I was like, yay. So so now I have the approval of the 13-year-old. I am going to stitch my house in Weeks Dye Works blue jeans. I think that'll just fit with the rest of the palette of those beautiful autumn colours. They're just lovely, and these are a mixture. I've pretty much I think actually I'm using all called for, but it's a mix of DMC and the Weeks dye works that I already had. I didn't buy new threads for it. I just already had them in. I think there was one actually I was missing that Kate had a spare, so she gave me that. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So really enjoying it and stitching it again. And it's like it's sometimes it's like going back to an old friend, isn't it? Stitching something you haven't stitched on for a couple of months. So I had how many days did I have stitching on it? About 4, so not many. And then September's Revenge has started, so I've kind of gone, it got put down. But really enjoyed that. I don't think, because I really want to get September's Revenge done and I want to get the Supernatural done for Halloween, I don't think I'm going to get this finished actually this autumn necessarily, but perhaps try and get back to it. It's still, so at the moment I had 12 WITs from August. As you know, I started September's Revenge, and actually I did start a small yesterday, which I can't tell you about because that's a secret. So I have got 14 WITs on the go at the moment, and yeah, so lots to stitch. Need more time, need less work time. So those are my WIPs. Work is actually going really well. So this week was my first week of extra hours. Surprise, well, not a surprise, it was my boss actually was in Barmouth the same weekend that I was in Barmouth, and so just before I left I said, oh, I'm in Barmouth, where are you going in Wales? And we met up for a drink, which was really lovely because obviously I'm working virtually. I'd only met him once before, so it was really nice to have a drink and catch up. And so my longer hours start this week, so that's been, yeah, I'm doing 2 days where I work the same hours that I did, so short days, and then I'm doing 2 slightly longer days, which is fabulous. It's great, but I'm finishing and I'm a bit tireder, and there's a few more things to do around the house. So I think yesterday I didn't start stitching, didn't get any stitching done in the afternoon, which I sometimes do when Felicity's home from school before I take her to dance, but it was very much, you know, she got home as I was finishing work. Actually, I hadn't quite finished, and running around then to get her ready for dance, and then off to dance, and then what's for tea, and just one of those mad evenings that actually it wasn't until probably about 8 or 9 o'clock that I sat down and managed to get a little bit of stitching done, which turns into, yeah, unpicking everything and then restitching it again. It happens to us all. So you know, so work's going really well, really loving it still. And just, I have to say, I'm just picking, so Sarah, handmade by Sarah W. I was just talking about her blue house from Mighty Oak. If you haven't watched her Flosstube, she's really she stitches a lot of what I like stitching, and I think I'd watch 1 or 2 of her Flosstubes, but then I think she's got 8 out now, so she's still a relatively new Flosstuber, and I've started watching from the start, and I'm up to about number 5, I think. But she does show the Winds of Autumn book, and very similar to me, I think, you know, I would like to stitch everything in this book, absolutely everything. It's all beautiful, and I think she was the last Flosstube I was watching. She was just about to start stitching the, where is it? Stitching the strawberry, and actually I would really like to do that, but I did see somebody else showed a picture of it. So this is the first Winds of Autumn with that. Is it a raven or a blackbird? I think it's a blackbird, isn't it? But it's absolutely beautiful. and I'd quite like to do that, but actually frame it and not have it as a strawberry, because I did see somebody else that had stitched it and framed it so it was flat, and it was stunning. It's just gorgeous. I think when you see it as a strawberry, you don't see all of it, so it doesn't have quite the same effect. But it was great to see somebody else like Sarah so enthusiastic about that book, and yeah, I just wish autumn lasted for longer. So what else have I got? Well, I have got a little bit of haul, not an awful lot of haul. I did buy this pattern, which is called Spider Banner, and it's by Alessandra Adelaide Needleworks. Now, I saw somebody finish this on, put their FFO on Instagram, and I thought, wow, that is absolutely fantastic. I love it. It's really the kind of, it's almost kind of almost like lace, some of the spider and the web on that, and I just thought, oh, it's a fantastic chart. I've never seen it, and as some of you know, I have worked in a cross stitch shop before, never saw it there, and the next thing I saw it go up on a Stash Unload site, UK one, and I just went, yes please, and lovely lady contacted me and said yes, no problem. And then I messaged her and said, oh, did you post your FFO of this on Instagram? She said, oh yes, I did, that was me. And I was like, oh, it was stunning, it was absolutely stunning. So I'm really pleased to have got that one. That's a really, I'm not going to start that this side of Halloween. That's not going to be for this Halloween, that will be for next Halloween. But yeah, loved it. So really pleased that I managed to pick that one up. And then I've also had my August fabric of the month. Excuse the crinkling, I just thought I'd take this out to try and give you a better look at the colour of it. So this is a neutral that Kate has done, and can you see that well with the light? So it's a very pale yellow, not really, perhaps maybe about there. That's perhaps not as dark as it's, yeah, it's lovely. It's really lovely neutral, which will go into my stash. And I'm sure it's yellow, but there's almost on some of the mottling here, there's almost a little bit kind of orangey. Sorry, my chair. I need a more comfortable stitching chair. I'm on a wooden chair and it's so noisy. Yeah, so that's beautiful neutral from Kate there. So that will go in my stash, and no doubt something will be stitched on that soon. So, oh, and then one more piece of haul. Now, this is something, so I don't know if some of you see my picture this week that we went to the beach after the day before school started. And actually I didn't buy, and we went to it's warm, my words. Let me just give myself, do you know what, just gonna have a little slurp of tea as quietly as I can. It's warm, my words and my thoughts are all getting a bit jumbled up, so I'm not going to edit that out. You can enjoy me being so some of you on Instagram will have seen the picture of the lighthouse that I put up on Instagram a couple of days ago. We went to Talacra Beach, which is one of our local beaches. It's probably our closest beach. Not the nicest, not the worst, but not, you know, there are nicer beaches on the North Wales coast, further down, so further away. But Talacra is really close, really handy if you want to walk, or you want to just have a bit of a beach, have a little bit of a swim. It's great. So by Talacra is Abercan. And Abercan is a great place for, mainly for dressmaking, curtain making, fabric. They do sell a little bit of cross stitch stuff. They sell DMC, but it's quite expensive there. And they do sell, you know, they sell basic cross stitch stuff, but they also have a really good wool selection. Now, you'll have seen back in February, I also posted a picture of the lighthouse at Talacra when we went for the day when we couldn't figure out why we'd gone in the week in February with the children, but we realised it was a day that the teachers had a strike. so there wasn't any school, so we were able to visit. And after we'd been for a really windy walk on the beach, we went to Abercan. Now I saw something that I thought, oh, that's brilliant, that's really good. And it was a wool, and I thought I could use that, I think, as a trim. And I thought, oh, could I? And I didn't buy any. And the next thing I saw Sarah, Somi Sarah, show that she had bought some and what she was using it for. And I was like, oh, that's what I was going to do. And I really regretted not buying any. So we did go to Abercan, not actually on Tuesday after the day before school, but about 2 weeks ago. And I bought some of this wool. Now it's a Sidar one, and it's called Happy. And it's a chenille. And if you can see, it's quite, you see that? It's quite, decent. So this is going to be absolutely perfect. And I think Sarah has already used some of this and for finishing some cushions, for trim around the outside of cushions. So actually these were, I think they were £1.15 each for these little balls, and I'm going to try yeah, I bought 6. They're gonna all drop off. So I bought pale green. Where do I put them? Put pale pink. Bought an aqua blue. The one I dropped was a kind of pale, so it's pale blue, could almost be grey. That's showing relatively true to life. Bought a nice, that's showing more red, it's more pink in real life. That's more red than orange. So my mum said, why are you buying that one? And my other half and I just had a joke that I was buying Liverpool Football Club colour for him. And then so I couldn't not buy it, even though my mum said, you won't use that. And I thought, I might not, but it's only £1.15. So I bought 6 of those. So I have got so many things I need to finish. So much, so many finished items that I need to fully finish. So that is a definite job for the autumn. I've got a few Halloween things that need finishing, definitely, and I also got some Christmas things. So whether they be for Christmas presents or just Christmas decorations, they need finishing soon. And I haven't done my Halloween decorating yet. I love seeing Yasmin from Yasmin Made with Love. She showed, I think, some pictures of her autumn and Halloween decorations that she'd done when the children had gone back to school. And I messaged and said, I want to do it, but my house needs tidying. She said, oh, I did that the first day the children went back to school. And of course, I was on a long work day the first 2 days. So, excuse me. So I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So I'm hoping I can get the family to tidy and put away all their stuff that's lying around the house over the weekend. And perhaps on Monday, I can start getting my Halloween things out and start doing a little bit of Halloween decorating. So that's my haul. I have been a very good girl and really kept my spending this month to a minimum. But I did go and spend quite a lot at the needlework market that has just happened. Was that 2 weekends ago? I put in a big pre-order with my lovely friend Kate, who had pre-orders for market things on her website, Fabrics by Crafty Kate. Now I know pre-orders have shut for now, and everything will be making its way over to us from the US of A, from across the big pond. So I'm really looking forward to receiving my order when that arrives from Kate. And I think Kate will have ordered extras of things, so when the order comes in from the States of everything that she ordered, there will be some charts on her website, which is Fabrics by Crafty Kate. So it's worth keeping an eye on that to see what comes. So that was my haul. Plans. I think I've probably talked about my plans as I've gone. September's revenge. is to be finished in September. Supernatural Sal, really want to get on with that. 23rd of September, it's autumn. Wow, that's come around. So the Seasons of the Heart autumn will be the next pattern, will be the next start. I've got loads to fully finish. I've got a secret stitch that I'm doing as part of an exchange, so that is being done now. I started that yesterday, and there'll be an exchange at Stitch in London, so I have had to think about that. I have got some ideas, so whether, yeah, not going to say anything more, but that's again, so those are two things that I won't be able to show you until after they have been gifted. So yes, so it's just going to be a case of getting on. I'm really trying not to have any new starts, and there's potentially big plans afoot for next year for my 50th birthday. So yeah, not just trying to get things done really. But my daughter did really help with giving a good tidy up of this room a couple of weeks ago. Did she, or did I do it myself? I can't actually quite remember. She was very good at shopping at B&M and getting good storage solutions for me. But she did clear out a lot of her stuff that was in this room, but I've cleared a lot of my stitchy stuff. Hence, actually, you are a bit closer to me. I realised the last video you were really far away because I couldn't actually get the tripod, move it from where it was to anywhere different to where it was, and I was quite far away from you. And one of my friends messaged me and said, great video, but it's a bit washed out with the light. And I was like, oh, I couldn't because you were so far away, I couldn't really see that on the phone until I did go in and edit it. And if I hadn't have put it out in that state, it wouldn't have got put out. So there we go. So hence, again, the sun is moving. So the sun starts kind of over there, and it moves round across the window. So I can see, you can see, despite the curtains being half shut, it is still trying to make its way in. But we're nearly at 50 minutes, so I'm sure you have heard enough of me for today. I think I'm just about there with everything that I wanted to tell you. The allotment, I know somebody messaged me yesterday and said, how's the allotment? Yeah, the allotment's still there. We are actually finally getting some courgettes. I was really disappointed that our courgette harvest was a bit rubbish because we started so late. But we are starting to get some courgettes. We have a lovely meal that we do with we fry some bacon up. It'll be great courgette, and we fry the courgette into the bacon, and then we put some creme fraiche in, stir it all together, and then put pasta in with a little bit of cheese and some parmesan on top. Absolutely, and lots of black pepper. Absolutely amazing, and a really good way of using up courgettes in a meal. And we've gone the whole summer and we haven't eaten it, and we've had it 3 times this week. So we are getting a few courgettes, but I haven't been, I don't think, for 2 weeks. I sent my other half. My daughter was out, she was out, I was working. I go to the allotments and see what's there. So he came back with a massive bag of green beans and a couple of courgettes. So we're getting some harvest off it, but just not what we have done in previous years. It's just been a busy year with starting my new job, but we're very determined that next summer we're going to have a better summer, and hopefully I'll get a bit better at taking photos, and I'll want to show it to you, because I'm hoping next year it will look better. This year it just looks messy. There's weeds everywhere, the grass is really long. It's not as good as it should be. So hopefully next year will be better, and I will start sharing it with you a little bit more. But so there we go. Thank you so much for joining me on this 1-year anniversary of Flosstube. Again, thank you to everybody that's subscribed. If you haven't and you could, that would be wonderful. It's really nice to know that people enjoy listening to what I have to say, like looking at my stitching, and it's really wonderful when people message me and say, oh, I've started this because I saw you did it. And I know, it was wonderful. Not long ago, Kate had a message on her Facebook page that I then saw, of a lady who wanted a fabric of Kate's, that she'd seen me stitch something on it, and she had the same pattern and she wanted the same fabric. And that's just wonderful that I can inspire you, as many of the wonderful floss tubers out there inspire me. And it has been a wonderful first year on Flosstube, and talking to you all and having conversations back. It's not just about me talking to you, it's you then coming back and commenting to me and having a conversation. I really enjoy it. It's like-minded people. It's wonderful. So thank you for listening. Yes, please subscribe, like, do all the things, and have a wonderful, I'm hoping I can come back to you in 2 weeks. Just, I'm not sure how many projects I'll have in 2 weeks, because there's just I might only have 2 or 3 with quite a lot of progress, so we'll see. But I'd like to, now we're back to term time, back to more of a routine. I hope that I'm going to try and start coming back to you every 2 weeks, but we'll see how it goes. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you soon. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, happy stitching. Bye.